Toward the end of Parshat Mishpatim, the end of Parakaf Gimel, we find a very interesting pasuk. Torah is telling us about the Chagim, about the 3 festivals that we go up to Eretz Yisrael, and it adds some other inyanim, and among them the Chumash says, source number 1, do not prostrate yourselves to their gods, do not worship them, and do not do as according to their practices, rather you shall fear, tear them apart, and you shall smash their pillars. And as the Chumash is going through different ancillary ideas, the Chumash tells us the following pasuk, Parakaf Gimel, pasuk Kafei. And this is the pasuk I'd like to focus in on Amir Hashem today. You shall worship Hashem, va'avadetem et Hashem Elokechem, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and shall remove illness from your midst. This is a very interesting pasuk. It seems out of almost nowhere, the Chumash is telling us, by the way, va'avadetem et Hashem Elokechem, you should serve God, and if you serve God, then God will bless your bread and water, which sounds very fascinating. Normally you would think if God's going to bless something, He's going to bless our bounty. Bread and water seems very basic. And to remove all illness from us. So the Mefarshim ask quite a number of questions on this pasuk. The first, the most obvious question is, and this is the question that Chaim Moshe asks, Al eiza avoda amar va'avadetem et Hashem Elokechem. It seems like it's coming out of the blue, like, by the way, you should serve God. And in fact, the Ramban, who's conscious of this, and very much pshat in source number 2, says, the more enlightened idolaters held that by honoring God's ministers, such as the sun and power of vegetation, they'd be blessed. The Torah promises, therefore, that no such intermediaries are needed or permitted. Worship Hashem and He'll provide all the blessings you need. And that explains the juxtaposition between these two psukim. You don't need a Avodah Zarah. Just serve God and He'll bless the bounty. He'll bless that which you have, your bread, your water, and take away all illness. But having said this, the question still remains. Va'avadetem et Hashem Elokechem. In what way should you serve God? In what's the context? What does it mean to serve God? Define it for me. Is it through mitzvahs? What does it mean? That's overall question number 1. Question number 2 is the fascinating aspect of va'avadetem. It's written in the plural, and you shall serve God. But when it comes to God blessing us, it's in the singular. Uvarech, He'll bless your lechem, your mayim. What is the reason for the switch from the plural to the singular? And we need to understand, as we mentioned, what is the symbolism of specifically the bread and the water and the removal of all illnesses. So like everything in our study and in our learning, there are many, many levels. And what I'd like to try to do, Amir Hashem, today is to take a look at a number of levels on what does it mean, va'avadetem et Hashem Elokechem, and you shall serve God. I'd like to move from the very general to the very specific. And in our journey of trying to understand and to delve into what does it mean to serve God, obviously each level is going to give us a glimpse into and a reflection into our own lives, into our own dynamics in our relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and hopefully bring us to a level of a higher awareness of what does it mean for each and every one of us on a daily, on a moment-by-moment level to serve God. If we start with the most general approach, and again, we're clearly not doing all the approaches, but if we start with the most general, we'll have around 5 Amir Hashem today, more or less. We'll look at the Nesiva Shalom. The Nesiva Shalom notes, he again asks, what does it mean that va'avadetem et Hashem Elokechem? He says generally, when the Torah tells us about va'avadetem et Hashem Elokechem, to serve God, it's a connection with mitzvos. Keep the mitzvos and serve God. And here it seems to be a very general statement, not connected to anything specific. So he brings a beautiful idea of the Ohel Yisrael, the Afterov, who says, he says, what does it mean, La'avodat Hashem, second paragraph from 4? Halo lashon avodah v'shevut shayach eitzel b'sar v'dam. Again, even think for a moment. What does it mean to serve God? I understand what it means to serve somebody else. I give them their needs, whatever they ask for, I'm able to fill. But shekasher adam oseh melechet hazulat shapir mikre shovdo. Serving others, I can understand the concept of service. But when we're talking about God, the concept of avoda in general seems so out of place. What does it mean to serve God? Because after all, there's really nothing we can do to serve God. Because after all, He's given us everything. So there's no way we can really repay God. So it's not really, he says, the correct understanding of avoda is service to God. It's something we can serve God with. There's something God needs. But rather, what is avoda? It means that Sheyudi Yaseh Tanug Lashem Yisparach, that we should bring, whatever this may